All right, friends. Welcome. It is week 3, day 2. So we are continuing with our solo projects, which is awesome. Um, just as a reminder, you do have core assignments. So make sure you submit your solo project. Even if you've already presented, you still need to submit it. Please make sure you do that. You do need to send me a group project proposal. So if you haven't, please make sure you send me that. You do have 2 more core assignments, your fronts and your display. These are for your singly linked list. We should have already gone through all of that. So please make sure that you are ready for that. Today we still have solo project presentations. We'll have some more tomorrow during office hour. And then tomorrow for lecture, we're actually skipping, we're not continuing that, but we are going on to Recursion. Recursion is a tool that we can use during coding, and it's just something that happens, and it's a way that we can kind of problem solve. It's a little bit more of a heady thing, but we're going to be going over that. We may or may not finish up some solo presentations if we still need a couple people to do that. As a reminder, next week is the finishing portion, right, of our coding. And also on Monday, Coding Dojo is closed. It is Labor Day. It's a national holiday. So we will not be working. Wednesday is your final day to submit discussion questions. Thursday is your final day to submit assignments in your group project. So please make sure that you do all of that. You have to have discussion questions, core assignments, 90% of your core assignments complete, plus your solo project, plus a group project, which is part of your core assignments, but you can't do all of the, 90%, but just skip the group project or skip a solo project. You have to have both of those in order to graduate. So please make sure you get those in, make sure those are submitted, and you're working on your group project. If all students in here have been put into, or everybody that has told me or filled out this form here has been put into a group. If you have not, please make sure that you, or if you're in this, please make sure you connect. I know that Damien, you and Fasika need to connect with Eric. So just anybody that, make sure that you are connecting with your people. If you cannot do that, then please make sure to reach out to me immediately and I can send you, I can send an email with everybody's information so that way you can connect. So, cool. Awesome. And also great job at getting your solo project finished. Yeah, make sure, even if you presented, so for everybody that's already presented, great job. Don't forget to submit it here. Again, if you want to present, we have one more spot. And then, if you really want to present, just message me. And then I can maybe put you in overflow. If not, then I need a recording of your presentation. You can just go on Zoom, go into a normal Zoom room. You can't go into our Zoom class because you don't have recording privileges because I'm the host, but just go on your own Zoom, record. I think you get like 45 minutes free. Just record onto your computer and then you can zip that up and send it over in an email. Okay, great. Don't forget your discussion questions. And that is it. So for today, this is who we've got on deck. Taryn, you're going to start us off, and Albert, you are going to finish us. So I see, Austin, that you said you can go today if we have time. If we have time, great. It's quite a few people, so maybe not, but if not, Austin, I see that you just added this here. So great. I'm glad that you could get in there. That said, Taryn, why don't you take over for us?
All right, sounds good. Flash warning, real quick for everybody. I did not figure out dark theme.
Yeah.
But this is the Crochet Buddy. I did not do login and reg because I was thinking more of a personal use kind of application. But this is our homepage. It has our nav bar. It's got a table that will populate with all of our patterns. We can go into each of these to see the details. Then we can go back. we can add a pattern. This is our form to add a pattern. And we'll just show off our validations real quick. So required, required. And because we don't know how long a project will be, I only required the first set of instructions. So let's start with just something. Starting with something, and it's a thing. The pattern type will say it's clothing. And I'm not particular about my hook size, so we'll just pick one. Yarn color, we can say it is yellow. Yarn type can be any, sure. And then I won't get full into the nitty gritty of a crochet pattern, but we'll say 2 double crochets, 1 triple crochet, and chain 5. Sure. We can add that to the library and it will come into the table. I realized I spelled something wrong, so that's cool. We can edit that
Story of my life.
to make we can make it say the right thing. That will update our header here. And if we want to check the validations on here, we can as well. Update the pattern. No, it doesn't like that. What if we just do 1 of each? It also does not like that. We can go back. Oh, well, that would not save that change. So let's just prove that it can update. And if I can spell correctly, update the pattern. There we go. We can come in here and look at the details. We can edit it from here. Takes us to the same thing. And we can also delete, and it will remove from the database. So this is the Crochet Buddy. This is what I've got in the time that we were given. I'll get ahead of this now. I really, really wanted to have the instructions set piece to populate with 1 input field at first, and then to have a button on the side to produce another one and another one and another one, depending on how many you want and how long the project actually is, so that, you know, we don't just have a full field, or we don't have enough inputs to fit the project. But unfortunately, I was not able to figure that out in time with MongoDB. Oh, I did JavaScript, by the way. But yeah, this is the Crochet Buddy.
This is awesome. Really love the colors. One idea could be that you go and manipulate the DOM whenever you, you know, in your backend, you can have it set up of, you know, here's what my model has, and maybe it's null or nothing if there's 10 steps. But you could have a button and an on-click. If you remember back what we did with Web Fundamentals, we have an on-click, and so when you click it, you're just inserting a new input field, and maybe you have some sort of you know, variable that's like starts at 1. And so when it's inputted, it first increases that variable to 2, submits a new, you know, injects a new input field into that form, and then it gives it maybe like a title of, you know, input, you know, step, and then whatever that variable is 2. So that way now you can kind of keep track all the way up to 10. Would be one idea. Just kind of handling that on the front end, and then whenever you send it over to the back end, it'll take whatever it has. This is awesome though.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the steps, the instructions portion is something I definitely want to figure out. So I would love to get that fully functional at some point.
Yeah, how did you do the colors scheme?
So that was actually Bootstrap. Let me see. Yeah, so I did a lot of just kind of goofing around with Bootstrap and seeing what kind of settings they had. So I saw they had this gradient advanced suggestion. And so I did use a little bit of CSS, but basically I was just looking at an example that they had on their website, and you can kind of mess with the colors and the percentages, and it'll change kind of like how the colors blend together, and like how much space they take up. So that was just kind of messing around and seeing what I liked in the end. And yeah, I didn't get like a background picture. So I was like, I'll go ham on the nav bar. We'll make that pretty.
I think it looks awesome. I really, really, really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of people in here love it too. Really great project. Anybody have any questions for Taryn? Great. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. That is
Cool.
awesome.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah. Abtamu, you were up, my friend. You were on mute if you're trying to talk.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry. Do you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
All right. So, about my project, describe and take stack. I did my project with MERN or JavaScript, and the idea or the concept is inspired. It's like we all know losing personal belonging, such as key, wallets, electronics, especially our pets like cats or dog, is common and really stressful experience. So this inconvenient and time losing is and recovering, replacing is overwhelming. So this project or the web application solution that will be stream gonna be deployed or push on production. That's my goal, and try to connect people who have lost this item or with those who have found this. So the project idea actually came or inspired by the personal experience of me losing my car key and house key at South Center Mall like a few weeks ago, and it's really challenging and stressful recovering them. Finally found it. So that's why I tried. I wanted to do this. I tried to implement the login rate. First, let's try to create a user, right? I want to show you the validation fine, and I do also try the conditional rendering when user log in or register. This change to different text, and then you'll see like the add item here. Let's say let's create a user like John King with John email. I also implement the email and password validation. I'll show you on in code. I use regex. So maybe like before doing this, maybe simply to show you the validation. So validation work, and the password I use the regex to show one uppercase, one lowercase number, and at least 8 character. So I just simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, capital L and small l for simplicity. So when a user login, so you can see it changes to different text, plus you see the add item here. And then when a user add new item, it shows the form here, and at the same time, it's displayed whatever the user add. So for item or for page that you lost or found, you just simply add. Before I fill out, I can show you the validation, right? And then let's say I lost my cat. Her name is Nia, and then she's so sweet. She's sweet and tuxedo cats. Location, I could say whatever location, and the dates would be, let's say today. And then I haven't completely able to upload image this is what I want to work on. So that's why I put it like optional. It doesn't break my code. Email address, it could be any email address. Oh, okay, I had to have. Okay, something. Okay, let me try again. I'm sorry. Yeah, cat description, CEDO, ads, location, random, dates. I think I missed some. Yeah, so it automatically deployed with some user effect rendering. And then I can see the details of the NIA, which is lost. And then I can go back and see, I can edit as well. It automatically populate, except the dates. I'm still working on the date. I can change and then edit. And then maybe I could say, oh, it's found. So I'll just update and then NIA is found now. It's edited. And then I can delete. What else? So I show you the validation on login and reg, or maybe log out and then see and login. I can show you the validation is working. The user who's John, right? John, g@com, and then password 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 capital L and small l. Okay, John is logged in now. So John can add whatever items. You can edit our update. So the next part, which I'm thinking there are so many things I was planning to do, but in short time, which is really challenging for me. So next I'll try to implement the search query when I had a lot of data, so I can easily search and then display the specific items. That's kind of challenging. And the other one, which is I tried to deploy on AWS. I don't know. I was able to deploy the Java project on AWS. So somehow for MERN, I couldn't. The build folder, which I'm sure I installed Nginx, but I couldn't find it. So I found something like it was deprecated the way you deploy or MERN class on AWS. That's something I want to do. So the hardest part, which I try to implement the Google address, what is called like the address translation and the auto completion, which is really, really tough. Here, whenever user type address, my plan was to automatically populate the address, specific address. That's my idea for to implement the address validation API with auto completion in React form. What else? So yeah, then the other one is image implementation to the form and detail page, search bar, query. And then also I want to do some comments if the user found this item, and then try to communicate with the person who lost it or deploy them. What was the hardest part? Yeah, that's the thing. What did I learn while building it? So I have learned a lot. So imagining the whole project idea was big, and picturing and it's pretty crazy. But breaking down and to smaller piece and work on smaller piece by piece helped me to understand and then build this. Yeah, that's the thing. One last thing I wanted to show you the code for email and password regex. This is just a simple I use this from what do you call it, like regex. Yeah, this page. You can search for email or password. It just give you. So I just simply use this for email and password regex, and then for validation as well. Yeah. That's all. Thank you for everyone. And then if you have any question, let me.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really like Taryn was saying, I really like the grid layout. It's a really cool sort of layout for all of these.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to implement the image, especially for like pets. There's like pets are missing everywhere. If I have this on cloud, and then people can simply post their missing pets, and then whoever found it, they can easily communicate. That's the idea.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Really great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you have,
Comments also saying lots of great things. So really, really great job. Really clever.
thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Looks like we've got Damien next. The floor is yours, Damien.
Hello.
Hi there.
All right. All right. Can you see my screen?
We can, yeah.
Awesome. So I am not completely finished yet. One of the things I'm struggling with right now is some of my database integration for the create read update on creating the DEX portion. As one of the things I wanted to add in was a link to add in cards individually. So I had to make a separate table for that in my database. But here's what I have so far. So I do have links at the top and bottom where you can go in to view the full lists and scroll up and down and go into each one. I've got links in the headers back to the home page. And then I have the login registration page where I can go in, and I have my login validation up here. And then once I do log in, I have my header tabs at the top that go in and change, which then I can go into for my create deck form with a side that gives you all the information for creating the necessary deck for which game you're trying to play. And then the list of your decks once you have yours created. And I'm still working on getting everything implemented so that the database for the actual deck list pulls over and gets that all sorted. But like I said, that's one of the things I'm struggling with for the dual table, where I have one table for just the deck information for like the deck name, deck type, when it was created, who was created by. And then I have the second table that will list out all of the individual cards with a link that I'm going to add to the create deck spot, that instead of a giant box right here, it would just be one box and a link that says add more cards, that just keeps adding more lists and then saves those in an array for the card list. Yeah, that is what I have so far. Still working on a little bit of it. One of the hardest things for me was I took a little bit of a break in between this session and the last group of classes, and it really do lose a lot of the stuff really quickly. So going back through and relearning stuff was definitely the hardest part for me so far.
Yeah. And what did you write this in?
Python. And I have some JavaScript as well added in.
Yeah, I really like the kind of layout, and it feels kind of on par with, even just whenever you say create a deck and you have the stuff on the side and then the left side you can create a deck. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is awesome. I think I saw when you're looking at the decks, there is a little bit of so if you go to your decks, it looks like some of the code, like if the session ID equals deck creator, that's just what that likely is you have an if statement in your Jinja, And then in between that, you know, you have that code in your P tag maybe, or in your A tag. You just need that outside of that. And then it will only show delete if it was created by that person, or it'll only show edit
Yeah.
if it's created by that person. So you just looks like you might have that in your A tag or P tag or whatever you're using. to
Yeah,
link
I
it.
do have that, but I also kind of labeled it that way just so that I would have the placeholder and know what it was supposed to do later. Just kind of
Ah.
help me out before I added in
Yeah,
and got
that makes
all of
sense.
the parts of like the deck building part figured out and fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Any questions for Damien? No, great. Yeah, lots of stuff in the chat. Very cool. Really, really cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Damien. On my list next, we have got Jarrell. Jarrell. We can
you hear me,
can
guys?
hear you. It's a little choppy.
Okay, one sec. I do apologize. I am working with bad setup.
Yeah, while you
Okay.
get that set up, Crystal, I agree. It is cool to see everybody's ideas, and you know everybody's different, but yeah, it's awesome. Okay, go ahead, Jarrell.
Okay. Yeah, I took the feedback out. Right now I got a limited setup. I'm away from home and I'm in Vegas, so not a ideal setup, but I'm working what I got. So I'm gonna share my screen. Actually using my audio through my phone and the internet. So give me a sec. Okay, there we go. I should be share screen, share. Okay, so you guys see it?
Yep, we can see it.
All right, cool. All right. So unfortunately, my plan didn't work out very well. I had to go back and forth from Sacramento to Vegas, and as soon as I finished this, I gotta go on another call. So my idea was to basically change my idea from the game to like basically a management type system. So I did everything in MERN. Everything is in JavaScript code written. So if you look at my code, Will, that I turned in, you're gonna see a whole bunch of commented out stuff that didn't work, and then I had to kind of put on the back burner. So I do apologize for the mess you're gonna get. So basically, it's just gonna have all the guild members. It has their the names, their classes, the contributing goal to whatever the guild is, right? The details, their level, their guild rank, and then here's a thing: what adventure they're on, so where location they're going to. So the easiest thing you can do is you can go ahead and you can hire somebody or bring somebody in. So I'll just go ahead and say this a demo, and then you can choose your class. You have a whole bunch of classes. So I'll just put a drag in. How about that? And then it pops into there to the guild list. So I'm gonna take Karlash because she's the best, right? It has all the identifying features for that character. The problem I had implementing something, a couple things was much like a Tamu was the load file feature. It's supposed to have been loading a character portrait, so that was causing some problems. But from here, you still have all the information that they're on and their current adventure, where they're going. You can recall them from their adventure. They're come back. Now they're showing that they're back. They're not on anything. You go back to your details, and then you can select from different adventure. And here was the other thing. So if you see in my my commented out stuff there, Will, what's supposed to have happened was there's supposed to be a little icons that kind of float to the corners to each one of the locations, so you can see which guild members are going which way onto the 4 quadrants of the screen. So unfortunately, that didn't kind of work out in the time given, but it still can send them someplace, and then it's identified there. You can also dismiss, so you dismiss, and then they're off the list. So unfortunately, in my quick time, that's what I got for right now, and that's it.
That's awesome. I love that idea. I'm always so impressed. I'm not the most creative person. I'm very much so like back end heavy, logical, like that makes sense to me. So even just the idea of like, oh, whenever this, if I click this, it's going to go to the 4 parts of the map. I love that idea. Keep working on that because that is something creative and that would never have come to my brain. So
Yeah,
really
yeah,
great job there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't showcase it. But if you do some digging into what I turned in, you're gonna see some stuff. You'll be like, oh, that's where he was going with it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, unfortunately. So sorry, I had to make it real quick. I gotta
No, you're
go.
good. No,
I do apologize. Thanks, guys.
You're just fine. Thank you. Take care. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Okay. So that was a quick one. We've got Eric next. Eric.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. Eric Wootan.
All right. So my project is based in JavaScript and Mern. It's a little organizer to help kind of gather your thoughts and keep things together for when you're making fiction ideas. So this stems from I run D&D games for my friends, and I have a terrible time keeping hold of NPC names, locations, and stuff. And there's great tools out there that already exist, but it always feels like there's something missing from them. So I figured I'd just make one that works perfectly for me. So it's pretty bare bones right now. So right now I've just got functioning locations and people. These are little links that will go to the forms to create new locations or people. So we'll just click this and then we can add a new location. I have validations working for titles. This is intentional so that if I wanted to add a title and then come back and fill in these other fields later, I'm sort of creating an outline for myself, which works perfectly for me. We can click it to view kind of the details of this place, the history, the description, relationships. We can edit and delete. So we'll just delete this. And then that works. These are made with components, so that's pretty easily expandable as I add more models for additional things. I would like to change it so that I could actually name the world instead of just having this basic text up here. A bunch of specific features I would also want to add to each individual model, like we have title, history, description. The relationship is just like it's just a regular text field right now, but it would be awesome to make this into like a drop-down list where I could select other articles that I've already created to add kind of links to them. And then also a bunch of fields missing from people too, like, oh, I forgot to add age in to display age here because that is a required field. So age is required, but be cool to add race, age, relationships, all these other things, and then also expand upon the type of articles that are available, like locations, people. I've set it up to have countries and religions to be able to be displayed, or settlements, things like that. In terms of the hardest thing for this project, I don't think anything I've implemented so far is hard. There's a bunch of ideas I have that I can see myself struggling with, like adding the links between existing articles, or I would love to be able to add images into the articles.
Yeah.
So I can maybe like add a portrait for this character type of thing just to kind of get a better idea of what they look like. Yeah, that's kind of what I got so far.
Yeah, this is awesome. Agree with a lot of people. It looks like something that would be really helpful for keeping sort of these details
Mhm.
in place. And again, like I was saying, I've said a couple of times, anytime you can create a project that you yourself are going to use or solves a problem in your life, you're going to have a lot more kind of passion for it and building it. So this seems like you're like, oh, I want to keep adding stuff and doing this. And I think any project that can elicit that sort of response is awesome. So very well
Yeah.
done.
Thank you.
Really cool. Yeah,
And
really
then
cool.
if
And I like
anybody wants to use like a functional, professionally developed version of this, there's a great website called World Anvil.
World Handle.
World Anvil. Like
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll type it in the chat. But it's mostly free to use. You can pay for it for some premium features, but it's a great tool. That's kind of what this is inspired by. So thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Great. Great job. Anybody have any questions for Eric? Other than a lot of people saying great job. Okay. Great. Wow, we are cruising. Hans, looks like we will add you in after Albert. And then if there's anybody else that wants to go today, we should have some time. So Albert, I will hand it off to you, my friend.
Cool. First I want to make sure is my mic good?
Yep, sounds
Cool.
perfect.
Cool beans. All right. All right. So I didn't mean to show you me and my wife, but me and my wife, we have the one of the biggest movie collections I know about. We have about 900, I've got it to an exact number, 997 movies. So I thought it'd be awesome to make a movie database. So right here is the registration and login. I'm gonna roll through this super quick because I want to show that. So I already made an account for George Brown. But I want to make sure and show you guys that I have a validation that I can't use the same email. That's there. And I'm gonna go ahead and log, or I'll show the rest of the validations before I head into the actual database. And I use JavaScript or Java for this project. And then I've got first name must be at least 2, last name must be at least 2. Birth date's required. I also have a validation in there that you have to be at least 13 years old to register for this website. So I already got some movies added here, but I'll go ahead and add a new one. I brought over some movies just so I had a template to use. Go with Patch Adams. And just a placeholder description, and it's just a user description. So whatever you want to do. Not positive when this was, but it was around 90s. And then say I'm gonna give Robin Williams, the classic man, give him a 9. And I also can do 9.2 if I wanted to. It's a big decimal, I believe. And so I can do a single digit or I can do a digit and a decimal point. And it is I'll put a family movie. And directed by Tom Shadyac. I'm a big movie nerd, but I just don't like to get things wrong when it comes to movies. So Patch Adams, I also, if you can tell, I made it alphabetized. I'm gonna clean that up. I made it alphabetized. Um, Something I really wanted to do originally, and I was just fiddling with this even before the start of the previous lecture of which was Java. I was starting to do where I could separate them and engulf them in their own genre category. That didn't work out well. But I also tried to do where like grouping together their letters. So D, Deadpool, M, Mouse, and P's, that big group of P's, and keeping that alphabetizing going. That's just me as a OCD guy with my movies. But I can hop in, see that. So I'm logged in as George Brown, just a stage, not a just a random name I use. But see, I created this Deadpool one, so I cannot go in and edit. But if I go back to the movie hub, I made, what was it, Patch Adams. I can go in and edit or delete it. So I can hop in, say I mistyped and I put in letters there, and then I got rid of the movie title. I have a required field, so I have to put this in. And I'll just make it singular just to show off the edit. So I just have a generic, like, if anything's wrong, refer to this validation and then come back in. And it's just refreshed. All the things that were changed are back to its previous state. But I made Patch Adam instead of Patch Adams. Hop back out, Patch Adams, or Patch Adam. Something else I did was, I'll use Patch Adam as an example. I went in, and it was 1995. If I go in and in another account and start typing in the same title, same release year, and same director, then these don't matter. It was specifically the title, release year, and director. Movie with the same title, release year, and director already exists, so no duplicates.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Oh, I thought I added a movie hub button in here. Guess not. That's something I need to add, but a way to go back to here. And then show off this, delete old Yeller. Sorry, bud. Didn't purposely plan that out. And I think, oh, and I added in their last name. Whether or not it's going to be a family, I'm not positive, but that's what I was thinking about. I think that's all I really wanted to show off. And then the logout function works. And then I'll hop in with my other account on here. What? Oh, wrong password. I'm glad that worked, so I can show that off. And yeah, it switches to Hi Gilmore family instead of Brown family. I believe that's it. And then I go into Patch Adam. I can't do anything in here, but I can log out and go back to the movie hub. And yeah, that's it. I've pushed it to
Awesome.
the GitHub, and yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
One thing that you could do, just kind of thinking about it, is if you had, because this is what my wife and I always are like, well, what do you want to watch? Well, I don't know. What do you want to watch? That you could even just have like a pick a movie. And
Yeah.
maybe if you're, the type that it is, whether it's family or football, maybe instead you just do a drop down. So it's sort of a set, you control if it's family or football, and they're not, it's not super random. Because if you do that, then maybe you could say, well, what kind of movie do you want? Do you want a comedy? Do you want family? And you could even get down to duration if you wanted to add that in, but you could just say, oh, I want a comedy, and I want, you could go as far as, and nothing before 2000. And so then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you could just do a query that you get all of the movies that the category is comedy and the date is less than or equal to 2000, and it would get that, and you just pick a random number from there, or pick a random instance, and then it's like, cool, here's what you should watch. Here's your movie of the night or something like that. That'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, you reminded me of another idea I actually had with it before I turned this into my solo project. Was that I originally had, like, I had two booleans where I would select if I had seen it or if my wife had seen it.
Oh yeah.
And like if I end up doing the pick a movie situation, it could show up saying, "Oh, we've already seen this movie. Are you sure you want to watch it again?" type of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That's awesome. What would your 1000th, are you like saving your 1000th movie for something super special?
Man, that is a great question. I actually not thought of that. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
It has to be a specific special movie, you're right.
Yeah.
Unless I've managed to get past 1000.
Yeah. Ben says House of 1000 Corpses.
Oh, I have that one already. Sorry.
Okay. Never mind. There
Yeah,
it
so
is.
now I've been planning on doing all 99 and putting them in 999.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Get a second copy. I love it. That's funny. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Albert. That's really cool. And
you.
the chat is popping off. That's awesome. Okay. We've now got, I think, Hans. Hans, you're up, my friend.
I'm ready.
All you.
Okay, let's go to screen. Too many screens. There we go. Screen 2. Okay. So this idea came from, I was playing Pokemon, but I was playing a ROM version of an older one, and I didn't know that they snuck a whole bunch of the new ones in there. So I was battling, and I was down to my last Pokemon. Somebody brought out a fresh new Pokemon, and I thought, hey, this Pokemon's blue. It's probably water. I have an electric type. Done. I got him. Go to find out, that's not how it works anymore. Blue Pokemon are not exclusively just water Pokemon. Awesome. I love it. So I thought, how can I remedy this? So I built an app where you're able to save Pokemon to a Pokebox, right? And then let's add a new Pokemon. Let's add a very new one. Let me see. I added so it could populate the names because there's 1,000 and I don't know how many Pokemon now, just a lot. So whoop, here we have Torchic. We can as you know, my Torchic might not look like your Torchic, might not look like Will's Torchic, might not look like Crystal's Torchic. So we're able to add different moves. Here are all the moves that they're able to learn. I'm just gonna add random moves here.
Is this an API you're using to get?
Yeah, I'm using the API on the
Poke
front
API?
end. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. This is really
Yep.
cool.
And then there we go. Okay, boom. Can't add more than 4. Not sure why it's not adding up, but that's fine. We'll continue. And then we go home. Bam. Here's our Torchic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now we're taking our Torchic, and let's say we're battling. Let me just go to a grass Pokemon that I know of. God damn, I'm blanking. Okay, Oddish. There we go. Search. There's Oddish. Compare. See, once you click on it, it expands and it gives you the moves. Torchic has an advantage over Oddish. Bam. So now we know we can use this Pokemon. We're going to win. Now let's see if it does the reverse. Let's look for a water Pokemon. Tentacool. Search Tentacool. compare Tentacool. So we're gonna withdraw our Torchic. And that's basically the app. I started this off with user login and registration, and that was possibly the hardest thing I've done while in this program. It was insanely hard. I was able to get the token to recognize the user. I was able to add Pokemon to my MongoDB, but I could not retrieve it in the user's dashboards page. So I said, you know what? Let me just make this like a for me use kind of thing. What I wish the API had was that why I added these moves is because I wanted to iterate through the moves, because we all know that moves have types also. So I wanted to be able for not only the Pokemon for you to know if your Pokemon has a type advantage, but maybe your Pokemon doesn't have a type advantage, but you have a move that is a type advantage, like how some water Pokemon can learn Mud Slap, and if you're facing an electric type, Mud Slap is super effective to the electric type. But they actually don't have the Poke API does not have types attached to the move. So something I'm gonna try to do in the future is create my own API to reference it against the Poke API and add types to the moves. So like that, it could be a little bit more specific. Show you here by Mew. That works. But the most challenging part was trying to get the login thing to work. It was so challenging I had to quit. But I guess the thing that was the most fun for me, and I can show y'all, was this right here. And it was just mapping out basically the point system. Okay, fire. And then this got my brain going, and I was just thinking about, wow, I definitely want to make like a free Pokemon battler card game kind of thing. But yeah, this is the app. This is what I've been working at. And yeah, thank you guys for the time. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, this is really impressive. I love the logic that you built into that, and I think a lot of people would agree. That's a very cool thing. What you could even build in the future is, it says that, Tentacool has advantage because X, Y, and Z, right? Because that is of type blah blah blah.
Yes, yeah. I definitely in what with the login is definitely something, because this is like skeleton version. The login is something I want to work in. I also want people to be able to post their rosters and have like sort of like a community board where people can talk and post their rosters. But very ambitious is a chat box. So then have it already that you ask the chat, hey, I am going against blah blah blah, and I have my Charizard. Are there any moves my Charizard can, that's the ambitious goal.
Yeah. Yeah, Socket.io, which I think is in the advanced section of JavaScript, would be how you could do the chat box. So that's awesome.
Yep, I saw that.
That's really cool. And even, you could continue this with like a AI tool. So bringing in ChatGPT. And then so some people could ask a question and ChatGPT could be like, oh, here's what you need to do. If it, you could test it and see if it's at all knowledgeable of Pokemon, but that'd be a cool idea too.
Yep, that's definitely something I'm looking into. Is first I got to get that login to work. That was a monster.
Sure.
It
Absolutely.
looks really good, man. Good job. Really impressive.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you.
Yeah, really great. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that, Hans. That's awesome.
No problem. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin, we've got 4 minutes left. We can, if you are quick, then we can have you go, or we can just put you in line for tomorrow. It's totally up to you, my friend.
Yeah, I can go real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So similar to Albert, I have kind of a movie website too. And so you come to this register login page, and I have the validations set up as a flash message. And then also, must be 2 characters, same kind of thing. And I'll just show you one that I already have as a login. Just so you can see. So this brings you to, oops, my bad. So this brings you to, so it's not the same as Albert's. Mine was kind of like, I was trying to make something where it was kind of like a Rotten Tomatoes, but just with you and your friends, because sometimes you can't always trust Rotten Tomatoes, but sometimes you have friends that, really have the same kind of movie taste as you. So basically, you can add a new movie to your theater. And what I was trying to do was also add the image URL that you could add, and then kind of like it would be when you go in to view it, I was trying to get like the background to look like a theater, and then you could have maybe the movie poster also in here. And I used Python for this one, so I figured I'd have to add a field for that, but still trying to figure that out, or maybe use an API, something like that. But so this is just basically you can come and view, and it's added by Colin Farrell. You get a score 1 through 10. And another stretch goal is to make this a float. So you could because right now you can only do whole numbers. But if you go back to the dashboard, then only if you're the one logged in, and you can see that it has the first name of the user that's logged in up here. And you're only if you're logged in, then you can go and edit. And so I'll just show you that if you go to here, update the movie, comes back down here, and then you can see that the score's changed. I also have validations for all of these also. And I can't have the date in the future. So if I put that in, date cannot be in the future. And yeah, I want to also maybe implement a many-to-many relationship where if you come in and you're not the one that's logged in, because this one's added by Colin Farrell, if you were logged in as somebody else, you could come down here and maybe put your score, or viewed also by, something like that. Originally, my idea was to have 2 different movie posters, and then you got to guess which one got a higher score on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that, and it would be a point system. But this is just kind of like a minimal viable product that I could show that I can do all the CRUD and everything. I want to make it look a little bit more like movie themed, but that's what I got for now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can delete too, I'll show you. And then it's out of the database.
That's awesome. I do like the idea of, I trust my friends more than I trust some random critic. Honestly, transparently, if the critics say they love a movie, I'm usually going to hate it. And vice versa. So that's a really cool idea.
Yep. So yeah, cool. I'm going to keep working on it and hopefully get a little bit more tweaked. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I don't know if I would use if there even is an API with movie posters, but something where you like Haptambu had earlier, where you have the image or URL, but still working on that.
Yeah, I just found, I was thinking the same thing. There's one called the Movie Database, and then there's one called OMDB. Hey, you have to be a Patreon, like a patron. Usually it's like $1 or $2, but it's just for posters. So if you wanted to, use a poster, that's the second one, the OMDB API.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's awesome. Really cool. Well, great. Thanks so much, Austin, for that. Love to see, we've had a lot of people present, and I love to see all of your ideas. Really impressed by you guys. That's a very cool thing that you guys have been doing in lots of projects. I hope that though it was challenging, that you can sort of sit and you're like, wow, okay, I did that. I created that, and something from my brain is now on that screen, which is a cool idea. So really great job, everybody. Again, tomorrow we will do office hour. We will do presentations, then we're back to actual lecture. So don't forget to work on your core assignments. Again, everybody that presented, please make sure you still submit your assignment. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow.